Hi Rishita, how are you?
Hi, I'm well, thank you. How are you, Leo?
I'm doing great. And last night you spoke in the opening session of the ICAP 10. So how was it?
It was scary. It was nerve-wracking. I thought the, but I thought overall the ceremony went off very well. I was very. I know that there have been reports around the disruption by the Korean LGBT groups
Yes.
at the when the Korean Minister of Health was speaking, and I thought it was great to see the support that they received from the community, and I think that it was a very sharp, poignant moment, and I think that's something that needs to be addressed. And I'm glad that something like that happened, where voices weren't silenced.
Okay. So how were you invited to speak in the opening session?
How was I invited? I was part of the Community Forum on Women and Girls, and I was speaking in that forum, presenting, and it so happened that we were discussing with all the other groups on all the other community groups around our key messaging, and well, this is something that I was alluding to in the speech yesterday around who is speaking and who are the faces of your movement. Um, and also the sort of identities that you have. And so they have a certain requirement for who speaks, who the speakers are. So as Lorindu said yesterday about it's been 17 years since there was an openly positive gay man speaking, and it was also linked in a certain way, you know, there's certain check boxes that they have to check with who goes up to speak.
I
So
see.
I happen to fall within a certain
Criteria.
set of criteria that they needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Basically, what message would you like funders and UN donors and agencies, young people and people living with HIV you want to speak about?
What are my messages? Well, to funders, first of all, we need more money, and we need money not just for projects or short-term projects, but for co-funding, and co-funding for not just programs that give you quick results, but long-term things, because something that's come across very clearly and something that the community has been saying for so long is that there are basic inequities that we have to address. There is stigma and discrimination that needs to be addressed, and these are long-term projects. This isn't something that we can give you results very quickly on. That takes time, money, effort, and we really need those resources. So for that, you need to invest in those things. And one of the strongest investments that you can make is with young people. Invest in young people, invest in the empowerment of young people, in creating safe spaces for young people. For young people, make yourself be heard. And this doesn't have to be you don't have to push yourself to always be, what I'm trying to say is young people need to be at all levels. And that's all levels of leadership. And all ideas of what leadership are. You don't have to be the face of the movement. You don't have to constantly be on those tables. It's just as important and necessary to work within what your comfort zone is. So youth empowerment and youth leadership doesn't necessarily have to be, going up to your government and saying, well, I don't agree with this, if you're not okay with that. But you should, it's sort of internally within our own movement, empowering people to work within their own comfort zones, but also to constantly be asking, to constantly and to recognize the fact that you are young and that your challenges are different and the way things impact you, they impact you differently.
Okay. So last two questions.
Okay.
What do you expect from this conference?
What I expect from this conference? I'd actually like to, well, on two levels. One, for the community, I'd like to see a very strong statement of support from international leaders and regional leaders, and I'd like to see a very strong statement come out that is inclusive, that sees the different kinds of people that are here and acknowledges them, and that nobody's silenced, nobody's left out. I'd also like to see a very clear support for the inequities that we face in the work that we do. And I'd like to see an understanding and an acknowledgement that our issues are varied, are different, and that you're not homogenizing these issues that we have, and that they all have equal space, and they all sort of converge together to really addressing and overcoming HIV. On a personal level, I'm hoping to learn a lot. There's a lot of things I don't know that I'm not aware of lots of gaps in my knowledge, and I'd like to learn more from my peers, from some amazing organizers that are here.
Okay, last question. Um, what do you expect when you go back? Basically, what specific topics or kind of experience that you want to learn and gain, and then when you go back to Manila, for example, you want to share it with young people?
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to go back to Manila. When I go back to Manila, working with young people there, I want to look at, well, first of all, underscore the need for sexual and reproductive health and rights, even when working with HIV/AIDS, and look at those interlinkages, because you need sexual and reproductive health and rights, and you need sexual and reproductive rights, and that needs to be recognized to, like, in any HIV/AIDS work that you do. That's one of the basic components, in my opinion, and I'd like to work on that specifically and look at those linkages. I'd also like to take back, I think, some of the gaps that I think exist in current advocacy or even the discussion in the Philippines and in Manila, like integrating MSM and TG, like openly talking about sex work, and from a non-abolitionist, non-protectionist standpoint, from a more empowering, enabling standpoint as well.
Thank you, Rishita.
Thank you.
Mabuhay.
Mabuhay!